Peter Squires is everything to everybody in old Tailem town. Not surprising, because Peter is everybody in town, the only resident, which makes him mayor, shopkeeper, policeman, street sweeper, in fact anything he likes. Peter is a man who loves people. He created his special town in the hope that it would attract thousands of tourists. But as Chris Hill reports, Peter is now more lonely than ever.
Peter Squires lives in a world all his own, literally. He shifted this entire town here virtually on his own. He runs it on his own, and he lives in it on his own. Now, while Pete's proud of all those facts, you can't help but feel the solitude and the need to be just about everywhere at once is beginning to take its toll.
I'm a single bloke with a son, and I like to have people come and visit me because I get a bit lonely, and people's your life.
Well, I'm a one-man band. Nobody knows nor understands. Is there anybody out there wanna lend me a hand to my one-man band?
As you probably gathered, Pete's vintage vision is focused on tourists. At the height of his midlife crisis, he decided South Australia could use a blast from the past.
What have you got out there?
23 buildings, all furnished, lots of old gear, stuff that is of interest to people that have lived through it and have forgotten about it.
10 hard years and 100,000 hard-earned dollars down the track, this is the result. A 100-year time warp that rivals any Hollywood set and betters most because it's real.
Everything is natural. There's nothing artificial, no look-alikes or mock-ups. This place has got quite a history. There's a couple of old twin brothers called the Martin twins. Used to live in and across at Brinkley, about 15 miles across the river.
With a lot of prompting, Pete can spin you a yarn about every building in his town. Most will bore you to tears, but by that time you're so flushed with accomplishment at actually getting him to talk, it doesn't matter.
Old stories that I've heard, they had a bit of a wash-up dish here, and they used to get a keg of wine, pour it in there so they could get to it faster and all that sort of crap. I wanted a town that preserved the past, a museum, a working museum. Everything's got to look like it originally was, not like a museum with a collection of this and a collection of that.
So what do you call this, the Tailem Express?
Oh, yeah, train to nowhere, really, I suppose.
Pete's piece de resistance, the vice-regal carriage that lugged Australia's first Prime Minister, Sir Edward Barton, to Melbourne back in 1900 for the drawing up of our Constitution.
Well, that's the pride and joy of the whole village. She's the oldest carriage in South Australia. It's a real walk back in time. You don't see carriages like this anymore.
Should be a pretty spooky place at night, wouldn't it?
Oh, I feel quite at home here. But I suppose other people would think it would be.
One of those other people is a local by the name of Jim Pannier. He reckons Pete has no reason at all to feel lonely. He swears that by reviving the old trains, Pete revived the old travellers as well.
I thought I heard children's voices, right? They were playing around, playing games like that. Anyway, I was coming down the stairs, it felt like someone was pushing me down the stairs.
Unfortunately, deceased passengers don't pay the bills, and unless Pete gets a few more visitors of the full-bodied, wallet-carrying variety, he'll have to go back to his day job, only opening the town on Sundays. After all the work, that would be a shame. But Pete Squires is the sort of bloke who won't rest until it's a success.
When I die, I hope that somebody else will have the same enthusiasm that I've got, and we'll keep it going.
You'll probably be back here after that anyway.
Oh, more than likely, I'll be the bloke scaring the wits out of everybody.
So that's what a midlife crisis is all about. Chris Hill reporting.
Our top